Is Mike Sullivan. I'm a former IRS agent and teaching instructor. I worked at IRS for a decade. I've been in private practice for 4 decades. Welcome to my YouTube video, the home of the very short, less than 5-minute videos. I just give you the information that you need, informative decisions. I do representation and consultation work. Today I want to talk to you about the little known application of certificate of discharge of property from the federal tax lien. If this is you, you first need to go ahead and look at Pub 783. That tells you the basic information that you need to go ahead and get a certificate of release of discharge. What is the most common use of this form? I used to discharge these for IRS. I don't even know how many that I've done of these as a former revenue officer. I used to work these cases. A lot of times you're selling a home and there's a federal tax lien on that home, and you're not paying the lien off, and therefore what happens to the lien? Can you sell your house? Does the lien stay there? Is the closing going to go through? Let me explain what happens. You will have to apply for an application, a certificate of discharge of property of the federal tax lien on IRS form 14135. That is the form that you use to go ahead and apply for the discharge. First, like I said, look at the Pub 783. That will give you a lot of information. And actually, when you go, there's only 3 pages you have to fill out for the application of certificate of discharge. Basically, IRS, and I have the form here, I just want to go through it. You basically put the taxpayer's information, the applicant's information, the lender, the power of attorney, the monetary information, and then you have to give an appraisal, copy of the lien, the title report, proposed closing statement. It's just stuff that if you're selling your home, okay, the person who's handling the title company should have all this information, so it's not that hard to go ahead and get. What the toughest part on the applications are timing. How soon will the federal tax lien get discharged? You'll want to have it perfect so at the time of closing you can at least go ahead and have the application ready to discharge. So the other thing, and I'll go back to another point, the other thing that you want to understand is that the valuation on these discharges have to be really close to the sale price. So IRS will look up realtor.com and Zillow, and if these numbers are very close to the application of discharge, what you're putting for the valuation, you could have a really tough time. So if in fact these valuations that you have are really off, you want to put an explanation. I'll give you a perfect example. We had a case and where there was a lot of damage done in a house, but if you pulled Zillow or Realtor.com, they wouldn't have known there was $80,000 worth of damage. They need a roof, they needed a foundation crack. So we put on the application, we put down about $80,000-$90,000 less than actually the fair market value, but we did put the general contractor's information and what it would cost, and we got those approved. You have to know this, not every application is discharged full pays the tax liability. So what happens in those situations? It's very simple. IRS releases that federal tax lien from that from that piece of property only. They will write on the lien, the federal tax lien has been released from so-and-so piece of property, OR book and page number, but that lien still has its statutory effect and still carries with the taxpayer on to their next property. So if you need to go ahead and sell your home and there's a federal tax lien on it, you have the 783 Pub to look at. You do your submission on that form that I told you, the 14135 form. It's only 3 pages. There's a bunch of information you got to fill out, but you're usually pretty much just going to the title company and attaching information. Like I said, only the valuation is IRS really going to look at. Anyway, if you have any questions, thoughts, we do applications of discharge here ourselves. if you need us to do. If this information was helpful to you, please go ahead, give me a subscription. I try to, as a former IRS agent, I try to tell you everything you need to do about a given case. But remember, if this is you and you're not full paying the debt, this federal tax lien is going to follow you wherever you go until it's taken care of. You may want to think about doing an offer and compromise after this sale goes through to go ahead and get rid of your tax debt completely. Thank you.